How is it going, everyone? It's Sam. Someone just bought a lot of Bitcoin. You're not going to believe how much they actually bought. And when I break it down, it's even more substantial. If you don't mind, hit subscribe. Turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. There's also a link down underneath the video to Margex where you can trade cryptocurrency on leverage. So you can amplify returns. They also have something called an MP Shield, which protects you from unfair price manipulation, liquidations. So definitely check this out. You can deposit and get started within a few minutes. We're heading into a very bullish time in the market. Obviously, some people are looking and saying, well, the last couple weeks, maybe the last week or so, Bitcoin's just stuck between 50 and 53,000. It looks bearish. I don't want to buy. I'm going to wait. The problem with that, and I don't know what it is about today. I'm very macro. I'm really thinking about Bitcoin in a bigger sense than what's happening over the next few weeks. Check out my last video if you haven't seen that already. But I think it's important to realize that this price action, 50 to 53,000, isn't here to stay. This is a blessing right now. I don't care if you're religious or not. This is a gift. We just had someone that continuously buys 100 Bitcoin a day, 300 Bitcoin a day. They call him Mr. 100, right? He buys 100 Bitcoin at a time, like clockwork. 115, 108, 104, 102, sometimes 4 or 5 times a day. Today, he bought 109 Bitcoin, 104, 100, 101, 101. It's all in one day. That's half of what the Bitcoin miners make in a day. He's buying up, basically, or she's buying up. This is nothing. This accumulation is nothing compared to what just came out, what we just saw. We saw 26,000 Bitcoin being bought up at one time. Now, of course, I understand how Bitcoin works. We don't necessarily know if this was just bought up. We don't know if it was transferred from a different wallet. Now, I don't know about you, but I think this is actually Bitcoin being bought up, right? If you had a bunch of wallets with Bitcoin, you wouldn't transfer it into one wallet. We would recognize a wallet that was much bigger that transferred out a wallet, an amount of about 26,000. This most likely is an entity, a person that bought from an OTC desk or that bought from somewhere 26,000 Bitcoin. Now, the crazy part about this is they bought it in one go. Maybe they bought it over time, right? And they transferred in here. Most likely they bought it one time. Now, they bought over the counter. It didn't push up the price. But think about this. Who? Tell me who. Who can buy 26,000 Bitcoin in one foul swoop? This is $1.3 billion worth of Bitcoin at 51,000. Someone just got highly convicted into Bitcoin. Someone just decided that they're going to put over $1 billion at one time. Yeah, they transferred 75,000 or 75 Bitcoin. Then a couple months later, they transferred one just to make sure that still worked and there was the right address. And then 10 minutes later, they transfer 26,000 Bitcoin. Who can actually buy $1 billion? Think about this. When you're really wealthy, say you grow to have $1 billion in net worth, how much of that is liquid? Usually very little. Like when you think about net worth, it's usually in the form of a company you own. When you own or when you have this much net worth, right? You don't day trade stocks up to $1 billion. You don't have real estate cash flows that give you $1 billion. No, you own businesses. You own a business. So most people that are really wealthy don't have a lot of liquidity. And this is something I've hit on before. Even for someone to buy a full Bitcoin, it's hard for a millionaire to buy a full Bitcoin. If you're a traditional millionaire and either you own a business or you've grown your 401k, a lot of it's not super liquid. It's not very easy to free up $50,000 to go buy an asset, especially when you think about how some people approach it too. They think Bitcoin is super risky. So liquidating 5% of whatever you own is very difficult. Who has $1 billion in liquid net worth, 1.4 billion, to buy Bitcoin. Now, maybe it's a major corporation. I'm talking bigger than MicroStrategy because they bought 1.4 billion in one swoop, right? Someone bigger than MicroStrategy or someone very wealthy. I'm talking over $10 billion net worth, maybe someone that just sold a massive business. We saw recently some insider sell. For example, Jamie Dimon sold $125 million worth of stock. This is nowhere close to enough to buy this amount of Bitcoin. Keep in mind you'd have to pay taxes as well, at least in the US, right? So to get $1.4 billion worth, you probably need to sell 2.8 billion, something like that, right? Maybe a little bit less if you can somehow game the system, but you have to sell at least 1.5 billion, probably closer to $2-3 billion worth. We saw recently Jeff Bezos sell a bunch of Amazon stock. He sold about $8.52 billion. Now, I'm not trying to throw out any crazy ideas out there, but what does Jeff Bezos have to buy with $8.5 billion? Now, I think a lot of people just assume that he's probably selling because he thinks maybe Amazon's a bit toppy, right? They're at all-time highs or close to it. Maybe he just wants some more liquidity, right? Maybe that's the case. Maybe he decided to go buy some Bitcoin. I mean, again, think about it. Who has $1.4 billion in liquid net worth to go buy Bitcoin? Whoever this is, it's probably not a huge portion of their portfolio. Because if you have $2 billion, let's say you have $2 billion net worth, it's all liquid. Do you go and put 70% into Bitcoin at one time when we've already moved up 200% from the bottom? I don't know. Of course, there are billionaires that see the way that the market's going. They see that Bitcoin is going to increase in value. But again, that would be surprising. Someone that has $2 billion net worth, it's all liquid, to go buy $1.4 billion. No, I don't think you work your entire life to put 70% into Bitcoin when you're already a billionaire because you already have so much money at that point. You're more in wealth preservation mode. I think whoever's buying this, if it's a person, they're in wealth preservation mode. They have tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're putting a couple percent into Bitcoin maybe. Now maybe it's a company, right? Maybe it's a company. Again, unless it's someone trying to become the next MicroStrategy, like they have to have a lot of money to buy $1.4 billion. Again, there's the off chance that it's someone that already owned this Bitcoin, but I don't think that's the case. Again, like the only way I could see this happening is if they owned a lot more Bitcoin than this 26,000, like maybe they own 150,000 and then they're trying to diversify it into different wallets, but that's not what we're seeing. We're not seeing a bunch of wallets being broken up here into 26,000 Bitcoin increments. We're not seeing one wallet that had 52,000 that's being split in two. Like, why would you have put 52,000 in the first place into a wallet? And again, we'd see an offsetting amount. We'd see a different wallet that lost this amount of Bitcoin, but we don't see that right now. So I don't know about you, but someone is very highly convicted or just found out about Bitcoin and they're diversifying and they're buying $1 billion. Now, again, this isn't pushing up the price, right? As someone mentioned in my last video that like, yeah, everything is awesome. Everything is crazy. Everything is insane, but the price doesn't move. That's because things are happening in the background, right? There are ways of buying Bitcoin and selling Bitcoin that don't cause the price to go up over the counter, but that is limited. You can't do that forever. Just like we see Grayscale selling and then we see ETFs buying. There's unlimited buying potential from the ETFs, but there's limited selling pressure from Grayscale. So if you can see that happening and they're offsetting, it doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way forever. So you have to look at what's happening behind the scenes. If you don't look at what's happening behind the scenes and you're only watching the price action, you're only going to invest when the price is going up. You're not going to invest when good things are happening and you're consolidating, which is how you make a lot of money, right? You don't wait for the cycle to start pumping. You don't wait for everything to start pumping to start investing. No, you invest when things are boring, when people aren't paying attention, but there are good things happening behind the scenes that people just don't care about. And that's what's happening with Bitcoin. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Again, you can check out Margex in case you want to trade crypto. There's also a link down there to HGAalgo in case you want an indicator that can really help you with trading and dollar cost averaging. Definitely check that out. I highly suggest it. Also, hit subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.